everyone, my name is Raven Prentice. Thank you for tuning in to Floyd Insider and welcome back. It's been a wild year for everyone and I can say for myself that I'm happy we're back in the studio. Today we will be going over many topics that involve COVID-19 and its impact on our school, but our first one is about how our students are adapting to the new changes in COVID regulations that have been placed in our classes.
These desks have been empty, still only half full. The coronavirus impact has forced our generations of students into a new wave of learning.
I want to thank the student body as a whole. I think you guys have done great. I know the masks are not pleasant, but I really appreciate that. We're trying to mitigate the spread as best we can, and you guys are absolutely doing your part. So I want to thank you for that. I think I speak for the entire staff when I say that. So have a great afternoon and a great weekend.
Asher Kuprion. Here.
I do not enjoy doing virtual classes. I think they're better than last year's, but it's still really hard to focus on a screen for 7 hours and actually get something out of it. So I'm here on Mondays and Wednesdays because my last name's Gibson, so I fall in A through K. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm virtual, and on Fridays everyone is virtual, so I'm also virtual on Fridays. Switching back and forth can make it kind of difficult because every day you're coming home, you have to unpack everything for the next day, and then you'll have to pack everything back up again, and sometimes you lose things and you forget stuff at school or in a class, and it can make it really hard to keep learning when you're at home.
This new wave of learning is going to take a lot to get used to. Just know, we're all in this together.
We got to see the perspective of a student dealing with the changes that school has given them, but now we get to have an insight on how a teacher has also changed and adapted their schedules, learned new rules and new technology to make their students have a successful year. Here with me, I have English teacher Mrs. Charbonneau, who's going to give us that insight. How are you today?
Hi, Raven. So good to see you.
Thank you for coming in. Now,
my pleasure.
I know that last year we had to go onto a virtual schedule. How was that experience for you, having to do that?
It was different. It was a lot of work, and it was really sad because I missed seeing my kids. And I worked probably till about 10:30, trying to get lesson plans each night and working with different aspects, talking to parents, answering emails. So I was still glad to be able to communicate with everyone and at least be able to connect, but it just wasn't the same.
How has that virtual experience been different than this year's?
Well, with this year, with the in-person and the hybrid, it's been a huge difference. It's still a lot of work. I still love my job. I still enjoy it. It's just different, and it's a lot of adaptation that it takes for us to get used to talking to people online and trying to differentiate and including the people online that are at the same time, including the people that are in class, and getting them involved in conversations and making sure that the people online can hear me and that the people online can hear the people in the classroom, that the people online can see any video clips I'm showing or any information that they need. It's a lot, but we're adapting.
Yeah. And obviously, because you have students in class, so how has making sure that they're following the rules and the regulations, how has that been? Because I know it's probably hard.
Right. I honestly haven't had any issues with discipline or people not following the rules. I think everyone is just really happy to be back. And so because of that, they're willing to do whatever they know the procedures are. So I haven't had, that's been nice, is that people have gain a new appreciation for what it takes to be in school. And I think most people realize that this is something that we're all dealing with. No one's really happy. No one is happy about COVID or the pandemic or the quarantine. And we're really hoping that we get to stay in school. And so because of that, people are willing to do what it takes.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking today.
Sure.
All right, for our next topic, we're going to take a look about how the coronavirus has affected our sports, especially one that is popular for many of its devoted fans. Let's see how the football team and their coaches are adapting to this year.
Friday Night Lights. High school football is considered by many to be the best sport in America, but no matter what you think of it, every single year thousands of high school athletes strap up their chin straps and buckle their shoulder pads and get ready to hop on the gridiron for some high school football. But as 2020 proves, this year has not been the same, and it's been very different for these high school athletes. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, high school football players have many procedures that they have to follow every single day to ensure the safety of them, the coaching staffs, and the people around them. These procedures are very necessary in order to keep the season going, as Indiana is one of the only states in this fall that is playing high school football. Some of these procedures include wearing masks in the weight room, spreading out on the sideline, and daily temperature checks. I talked to head coach, Coach Bragg of Floyd Central High School, to talk about these procedures and how it's affecting the team.
Quite a few of them, but then the big ones, we temperature check every kid every day when they come in after school, whether they've been in school or been at home. We make sure that everybody's temperature is where it needs to be, and then we mask up in the weight room.
I asked Coach Bragg how he felt about the procedures himself and about how the rest of the team is handling the procedures moving forward with this 2020 football season.
They're good procedures. It's taken a while to get used to. Our kids have gotten used to it, for the past 2 months that we've had to do this. And I think everybody understands that these are the things we have to do to be able to play football.
Finally, I asked Coach Bragg how he felt about the upcoming season and about the Highlanders going far in the postseason.
We got a very senior dominant team this year. We got a lot of guys that are coming back that are multi-year starters for us. They're excited and they're a very coachable bunch, so right now that we have a goal of play late November. That's still a goal today, that'll be the goal all season. So we'll go as far as our senior leadership and our 2-year starters will take us.
Many of the players on Floyd Central's team feel very confident in their ability to go to state and does not think that the pandemic is holding them back. I'm Isaac Hatfield, and go Highlanders.
The football team and their coaches seem to have everything put together and are working hard to give their players a year in the field. But football isn't the only thing that is looking onward and moving forward through this pandemic. For our last topic, we're going to take a look into a branch of our performing arts that has also had to make many changes to their program. Let's see how our theater is changing to make this year as productive as they can.
The coronavirus pandemic has heavily impacted the programs and the ways that students can learn. One program that has been impacted more than others is the theater's arts program, which has come to a complete stop.
We are beginning to take down the scenery and clean up from last school year after everything was canceled. All of our scenery is still on stage. And the online students were coming up with creative new ways for them to learn about the subject at home.
Sadly, with the cancellation of shows, the program can no longer receive the funding that they would otherwise get from ticket sales.
We were left with a lot of expenses at the end of the school year. The truth be told, we're still working to pay off. Streaming has also become a much more approachable method for the time viewing of selling tickets and viewing entertainment content. So we'll be pursuing that for the spring, and we're optimistic that it will hopefully at least level out the ticket sales that would have been sold in person.
Like an all-famous quote, the show must go on. And here with me today, I have our new theater teacher, Miss Chalfant, to see exactly what they're going to do to keep the show going. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Raven?
I'm good. Now, what was the process like when you had to decide what this year was going to look like for the theater program?
Well, the first thing we had to keep in mind was the health and safety of all of our students and our patrons who come to see the shows. So we started thinking about what does theater look like when it's socially distanced, and then we kind of just went from there. What's the timeline look like? At what point can we get things back to the way that they are? But also, how do we adapt the way that we are, where we are now?
How have the in classes been like with virtual, with hybrid? How has that looked like?
So about half of my students are in person and then half are virtual. And that's been interesting because we're used to just getting on stage and performing. So I've had to come up with new ways of having the students demonstrate their abilities to perform. And then also collaboration is different. So whether it's the students in person joining the Google Meet, or it's projecting the information onto the screen at the same time that the students online are seeing it, all kinds of adaptations and changes that I never would have anticipated. Yeah.
And I've seen a little bit about a upcoming cabaret. Could you explain a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, for sure. So we wanted to give the students a theatrical experience while still allowing for social distancing and maintaining the safety and health of the theater community here at Floyd Central. So we came up with this idea of having a cabaret that's kind of based on the times that we're going through right now. So we've titled it These Unprecedented Times, like all the emails you get. And it's basically songs and scenes about things that are happening, the feelings that you have. And they're all from shows that the students in the audience might know. So there are songs about hope, there are songs about fear, songs about change, scenes about that as well. But the idea was that if you have 1 or 2 students on stage at a time, you can have 1 or 2 students in rehearsal at a time. It keeps everyone distant. It meets all the mandates, but also gives a performance opportunity to our students.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that is in the works that might be happening, hopefully?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully in the spring, we're going to have The Little Mermaid in March, and then in May, we're going to be doing the production Almost Maine. So we're really excited and hope that students are feeling the same way that we are.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you, Raven.
Since our last episode in February, you can probably tell that a lot of things have changed due to COVID-19. And with those changes, we've all had to figure out what is the best and most productive way to keep ourselves and others safe. That being said, I do believe that all of the teachers, students, and faculty members have done an amazing job at that. Thank you all again for tuning in. Everyone here hopes that you're all safe and healthy, and make sure to check in for next month's episode. We hope to have more information for you in the future that relates off of COVID-19. My name is Raven Prentice, and this has been an FCTV production.